when the ozone layer goes. The world has become so fragile.
Peter Kalamas was arrested this week for civil disobedience after chaining himself to a Chase Bank entrance in Los Angeles.
We're going to lose everything, and we're not joking. We're not lying. We're not exaggerating. This is so bad, everyone, that we're willing to take this risk.
In today's video, we will discuss about the greatest threat that we face today, and that is climate change. Climate change refers to long-term climate changes that occurs over decades or centuries. It is produced by rapidly rising of greenhouse gas level in the Earth's atmosphere, mostly as a result of burning of fossil fuels and other sources. It puts billions of people's lives and livelihood in danger, such that it is critical that we learn about this topic so that we can prepare for our future.
Climate change is a shift in those average conditions and has different effects in different areas of the world. Extreme weather events are becoming more common, putting our lives and livelihoods at risk. According to NOAA's 2020 Annual Climate Report, since 1880, the total land and ocean temperature has risen at an average pace of 0.13 degrees Fahrenheit or 0.08 degrees Celsius every decade. However, the average rate of increase since 1981 or 0.18 degrees Celsius or 0.13 degrees Fahrenheit has been more than double that rate. Some places will warm while others will experience more rainfall and drought. Hence, people in poorer countries will suffer the most as they do not have the money to adapt to climate change.
Due to the rise of sea levels resulting from climate change, tropical cyclones became even more violent, causing severe damage to properties and to humankind. In fact, one of the drastic events that happened is when Super Typhoon Rai, locally known as Odette, made its landfall in the Philippines last December 16, 2021. This typhoon has affected 7 provinces across the country, where 6 provinces were severely damaged, estimating 9.9 million people were affected. According to the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council and the Department of Social Welfare and Development, the typhoon killed at least 409 people and injured thousands, cumulative displacing nearly 3.2 million people. Studies showed that intense cyclones, storms, and typhoons increases due to the warming climate and will continue for the foreseeable future, which is very alarming.
With climate change, our future has been limited. Hence, our world leaders must improve building energy efficiency. According to the International Energy Agency, improving energy efficiency is one of the most cost-effective ways to reduce carbon pollution. Our world leaders must strengthen the policies that catalyze green investment and give companies the certainty they need to clean up their industries and food chains. As a world leader, you must promote energy efficiency through performance standards on buildings, cars, and appliances. And it means setting new targets for renewable energy and investing in clean energy future.
Policymakers take a top-down approach in the form of a reasonable legislation that, ideally, charges carbon and regulates high-emitting business to decrease their environmental impact. Unfortunately, some world leaders are still unaware of the significance of environmental stewardship. Environmental rules are being repealed, and financing for environmental projects are being withheld by the several foreign leaders. Despite the fact that people are suffering, ecosystems are collapsing, and a global extinction disaster is occurring, these world leaders continue to put economic growth first. Thus, scientists from all across the world have joined forces to protest fossil fuels and draw attention to the seriousness of the problem.
One of the scientists who protested is Dr. Peter Kalmos, a climate scientist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab. He was alarmed by severe changes in the Earth's systems and set out on a journey to improve his life and the world. Considerably, the research, which focuses on minimizing the effects of climate change, revealed that human-induced greenhouse gas emissions are continuing to climb at an alarming rate, approaching the 1.5 degrees Celsius danger line. This data urged Dr. Kalmos to speak up after the release of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change's Working Group 3 report, which makes up one-third of the IPCC's sixth assessment. As a climate scientist and a father, Dr. Peter Kalmos wanted that people will be alarmed and aware of the concurrence in our environment. And as a youth, this has terrified us, and we can't do as many things as you can. As the saying goes, a good leader is a good listener. Thus, we need world leaders who will listen to these scientists and act on what they have figured out.
Climate change has worsened, but we still have a chance to fix it at some point. As recent reports make it very clear, if we don't tackle climate change, it will cost our economy billions and endanger our national security and our health. Stepping up now to move toward renewable energy, more sustainable agriculture, and electric cars can yield economic benefits. As a world leader, you should ensure us a better environment by protecting and restoring key ecosystems, supporting small agricultural producers, promoting green energy, combat short-lived climate pollutants, and better adaptation, not just mitigation. The longer we wait, the more our communities will suffer under bigger wildfires, longer heat waves, more severe droughts, and shrinking crop yields. And we can't afford that future.
Despite the extensive planning for world leaders in resolving such issues, but without the participation of each person would be worthless. It is essential for each person to preserve and defend our ecosystem. As individuals, we can help by applying the 3 R's of waste management, which is to reduce, reuse, and recycle. Second is to volunteer. We can help by volunteering in community cleanups operations, such as by protecting our watershed. Third is to plant trees. Trees supply both food and oxygen, and aid energy conservation, air purification, and climate change mitigation. Lastly is to educate ourselves. By advancing our own education, we can help people understand the importance and value of our natural resources.
Climate change has increased uncertainties about our future. As its effects worsen over time, one thing is certain. We will leave the earth to today's children and youth as well as future generations. Young people can also make a major contribution to addressing climate change since we are the most affected by these issues and can drive solutions that support sustainable development. It is important that we focus more on environmental or climate change issues rather than other issues because some issues may be fixed as they worsen, but these issues concerning climate change will never be solved once it reaches its peak as we only have one Earth. Eventually, we can create a more sustainable world for all of us if we address these issues. But we must act now. We must prepare for, adapt to, and be resilient to the present and future effects of climate change.
As extreme weather events such as cyclones and heat waves increase in frequency and ferocity, they threaten children's lives and destroy infrastructure critical to their well-being. So, climate change affects our livelihood, health, and future. So the world leaders, this will concern should be taken into our hearts and open to reality or the current situation we have experienced and will experience if we do not take